Who's going to say my name, then I can hold my card like this. Maybe easier.
Hello and welcome to the Self-Recording Band podcast. I'm your host, Benedikt Hein, and we are again live here from Studioszene in Hamburg. We are at the Studio Sofa. So the amazing guys people at Sound and Recording let us use their sofa for these live stream interviews, which is really great. So thank you for joining us live. This is also a podcast recording in case you listen later. Thank you guys for coming live here. Like, we have an audience in front of us, which is very nice. And I'm here with my co-host Malcolm Owen Flood, as always.
Hey everyone, hello.
And we are joined today by Adi Bajentny. Is that correct? Adi
Exactly.
Bajentny? Yeah,
wow,
it's
on
like
the first take.
Yeah.
Great, congratulations.
Adi Bajentny from Hit the Road Studio, Hit the Road Music Studio. And it's I'm very excited because I have many questions. What you're doing is a little bit outside of what most studio people do, I would say, and you've probably got some amazing stories for us. So Adi's traveling the world, recording people in like all kinds of places, basically, and also recording all kinds of genres. So I'm really excited to hear those stories. And welcome. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me. And guys, thank you so much also to the Studioszene team for organizing this. There is a lot of work behind it, and I'm very grateful to be here. Let's talk a little bit audio.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. All right. So how do we start? Like, maybe you give us a quick backstory of like what Hit the Road Music Studio actually is.
Hit the Road Music Studio. So for the past 5 years, I was traveling in a van with basic equipment. We had a home studio in our car and started to record local artists. Our journey brought us to Morocco, and through COVID we were not stuck, but we consciously decided to stay there for 2 years and support local artists. During this time, we created over 50 music videos and singles with local artists, kind of to support them, so they can go beyond the borders, get booked for festivals and make a living with the music. On top of that, we made the music videos, I think over 6 live shows that were streamed online, for example, for the Liverpool Arab Arts Festival, and 2 CDs, 2 LPs. And after the borders were opened again, we continued our journey and recorded in Albania, in Greece. We worked in refugee camps to bring the music to the people there and a little bit of normality back in their lives. Been to Armenia. There are 4 documentaries out now, and I joined to produce like a pro team with Warren Hewitt, who kindly called me via Skype after he found our journey. And this journey brought us everywhere. It's incredible.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds really cool. One question that comes to mind might sound like an odd question, but still, I think it's some people might be wondering, if you do something like that, I assume like the budgets for those records or those productions are not really big, right? Probably in many cases. So how do you? I mean, I might totally be wrong, but like, how do you make it work financially so that you can travel for a long time, record in cool places with all these people, and still kind of get by? You know, it's like, in case people are wondering and they want to do something like that themselves, how does that work?
I was wondering too.
yeah.
When we started, and the thing is, at the beginning we were supporting local artists, and we had something that went beyond financial security. So I want to tell you that I didn't have any cash at the beginning of the month. Every month for 2 or 3 years started by zero, literally by zero, and I had to see how we get by. The cool thing is, and this is what I love in music is community. So we were living for 6 months in the desert. We had a place to stay. We were surrounded with our friends, making music. We had food, and we were safe. Yeah. Cool. Maybe our desires were, I couldn't buy the latest plugin that came up.
Of course, yeah.
And,
but the basics were covered. Like,
exactly, more, and even more than the basics. Like, it was a really good reset.
Awesome.
And during this journey, later I could learn how to build a business out of it. And now I'm living for music. I'm booked until March, which is great, which I'm really grateful for. And and it's
some important work that you've done there, actually. Like, you've done those people a service, like, and it's like very, very cool. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm always thinking, when we came back after this journey, I'm always thinking, like, did we really help the artists? Did we really support the artists? And I'm still looking for new ways how to support them, for example, financially. And the next step, what I think is really helpful, will be the opening of our music production school in Morocco.
Oh, wow.
Where kids will learn how to record. We have a couple of sponsors that are going to send us speakers and interfaces and microphones, but we are still looking for people who want to join us with this. And I think this empowerment, this can be really, really, really helpful. Empowerment and education.
Wow.
Fantastic.
It's great.
So I have a question about this journey as well, in that most people, when they start a recording business, do so in their hometown, like wherever they live, and they try and find bands in their local music scene. That's like the natural path. What made you not do that and want to just go and find it elsewhere?
Oh, I love this question. So actually, I'm traveling with my life partner Kasia for 12 years, even before
Amazing.
YouTube, before cameras, and we were just living with everywhere, like in Albania or anywhere. Our travels came to a stop for a while, and we lived in Poland. I started to be in bands again actively and booking gigs, but it wasn't the same thing as usual, and it didn't make so much fun anymore after a while. And I thought, when I'm now in a rock band, we will only play rock. But I love also Sinti and Roma music. I love cumbia, so I will never get to this, to these sounds when I'm just narrow in one genre. So music production opened to me. So it's at the end, it's curiosity. I wanted to learn, how does the EQ works now? How does the compressor works now? Oh, what kind of mic is that? And out of this curiosity came a new love, a new fire again, which opened me the possibility to work with more people from any genre and be part of the band. Then I thought, when I open a studio in Poland now, I will be in the basement for at least 3 years, and I really don't want to do that. I'm not the guy for this. I'm a sunshine guy, man. So at night really came this, sometimes I ask a question to a problem that I can't solve before I go to bed, and after a while I just woke up and said, hey, why not travel and record bands?
Right.
And this is how it started, with an idea.
Yeah, so you kind of fused your two loves, like adventurous love and this music love together.
Exactly. And for me also music is a gateway to any culture. We can really see the DNA from a culture, where the music comes from, what shaped the people. And this is the way how I travel usually. We are living in the cultures, in the countries, and we are meeting the people. And music is the easiest way for me to connect and understand.
Fantastic.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic. What would you say, because this is, I think, relevant for our audience as well, is like, what are the main takeaways that you got from traveling and recording people in all kinds of places? Like, what are the, let's say, a few key takeaways of situations where you record in less than ideal circumstances, let's say? Because I assume like the places you rent out for studio spaces or wherever are not purpose-built like high-end studios, of course. So is there like a common thing that you have to overcome constantly, like a few key takeaways for recording in odd places, I'd say?
Of course. I learned a lot about location recording, about the techniques, and I think the first lesson, and don't kill me for that, but the most expensive mics doesn't work, because the most expensive mics, they are built for environment which is incredibly well treated, so you get all the nuances. The thing is, when we recorded in a Moroccan clay house, I can hear the birds and the neighbor snoring. It wasn't really what we wanted on the record, and I got inspired by Einstein, because he had mind experiments. So in his mind, he used his imagination for his solutions. So I did the same. Like when I heard the room, I checked how can I position the band that they can see each other, because this is the core of the music. It's how the band interact with each other. We never played on a click, and recorded mainly live. So number one, always be in phase. Make sure that the sound comes at the right time, that it sounds good already when you record it. The second thing, use the right mics. Like mainly I had dynamic microphones, and it's important because I'm in the desert. There's a lot of sand going in between the microphones. If you have a Newman with you and it breaks, you're gonna cry. You don't want that. So I needed rather robust mics that I can take also in the plane or anywhere. And use condenser mics where I really needed them to understand your mic locker. Because when I started, I had 8 microphones and I shot them all for the half price on eBay, and they weren't precious, but I knew them. So I knew, okay, I need some top end here from this instrument. I just put it here and then blend it in. The next approach, what I learned is the mixing stage is completely different, because I don't have all the multi-tracks like separated from each other and try to put them back together. They were together already. And if I wanted, for example, more of the djembe, I had to put up the vocal mic, because the djembe was bleeding into the vocal mic.
All right, yeah.
Right.
So it's
Totally.
a completely new approach, which kept it fresh, honestly.
Mhm.
I had always a new puzzle in front of me.
All right. How did you educate yourself on all these different genres and how to produce them? Because if you want to be a rock producer or a hip hop producer, whatever, there's courses out there, there's a lot of material, a lot of education. But if you want to do world music or cumbia or any of the things you do, it's probably hard to find education. So all self-taught, trial and error, or any resources for that type of stuff?
Trial and error.
Yeah.
There is no YouTube video how to record middle-aged Andalusian classic band.
Yeah, of course.
Not yet. Now I made one.
Yeah.
Very good.
It was trial and error. And when we had our pilot, I just packed the mics, went to Morocco, asked people on the street, hey, who won the record? And there was this band, like half of the band from Israel, half of the band from Morocco. Yeah, we have this one slot where we can just play in the hotel. And it was rather psychological safety. I had it's a German book, Der Tonmeister.
Mm-hmm.
So I had this book in my hands. I was scared, because my only experience was recording young metal bands in Poland in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
So I just read it for psychological safety and said, okay, let's go and see what happens. And it doesn't sound good,
Mm-hmm.
because I had no clue
Mm-hmm.
how to put up the mics.
Mm-hmm.
Community is again the key, because the director, Elad Levi, we had 18 revisions, because there were instruments I never saw in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing is, try to understand, where does the sound come from? How does it blend in this room altogether? Where can I put the mic there? And listen to feedback. I said, Elad, do you like it? He said, that's not how our music sounds like, but maybe you can try this and that. And through this trial and error and just jump into the water, it wasn't you have to let go of your ego in a way and be ready to learn. Bruce Lee said it, empty your cup, so somebody else can pour the tea in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
That makes sense.
Didn't you have a similar, or kind of similar experience when you were recording drummers all over the
Yeah,
world and
so-
with all kind of different genres and cultures? I remember you.
I got to work on a drumming documentary, and we went all over the world recording the drums and rhythmic instruments of those different cultures. And it was exactly like that. You just get in front of an instrument and be like, I don't even know how you play this, like where to start. And first thing I would do is just ask the professional, the person that's actually going to play it. Show me it, let me listen, and then tell me what you normally do, right? If you've ever been recorded before, what did they do? We can start there if that seems to make sense, and give that a go. And they always had feedback for me, which just got us going in the right direction right away.
I absolutely love that. Exactly. Talk with the artist. They know their instrument the best. You
Yeah.
know? They been to a studio maybe and know, hey, the other engineer, he put the mic like that.
Yeah.
Maybe you try it also. That's one. Where can I watch the documentary?
It never came out.
No!
It was a big production and they never
Yeah.
released it, right?
I know, the footage is somewhere, and hopefully somebody does something with it.
It's crazy to think a lot went into this.
So much.
Yeah.
So much.
Oh
Yeah,
my
we'll
gosh.
we'll talk more about it off air.
Yeah.
But
No
it's
way, man.
it was an incredible opportunity, and I got to learn so much about engineering all sorts of drums and percussion. It was fantastic, and in environments that weren't always studios. The first place we did go to was Mumbai, and it was a studio. It was easy. We're set up. There's gear. There's everything I could need. And then the next place was outside in a jungle, and it's this is totally different.
Yeah.
Obviously, very very different. I don't have a mic locker. I just have what's in my backpack and batteries. So let's go.
Wow.
So it was a very fun experience, and I'm sure you can relate to that because it's different.
Especially with drums, because when you record drums outside, you have no reverb that comes back where the low end really sits.
Yeah.
So respect to them.
Very fun. Very fun.
Wow.
Do you have any tips on how to overcome the problem of being in the same room with the band that you're recording, where you cannot monitor in real time? Because that's what most people do in the jam space as well. You don't have a control room and a live room. You're probably sitting next to the artist. You have to record, listen back, and is there any takeaways there for our audience? How do you go about that?
It's the biggest fun because you're really inside the music. You are there with the artist. I had to sit with the band together because I didn't have enough cables, so I had to be as close as possible to them. And the takeaway is, so how did I do it? We made a sound check. I said, play the song for 30 seconds, they stopped, then I listened back so I can really hear what's going on. And once I had the sound I like, I said, let's go. And I took even my headphones off to just hear the music, and I was taking more care of the performance than the sound.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Yep,
Cool.
that makes sense. Another question that comes to mind that I've also had to figure out and overcome is when you travel to a new country, you might not speak the same language as who you're recording. Any thoughts on how to communicate when you can't communicate verbally?
Number one is learn a few words in their language,
Yeah.
wherever you are, man, because it will break the ice immediately and it will show respect wherever you are. Number two, usually, probably we were lucky that there was always one guy who spoke a little bit English. When there was nobody, you don't forget to smile. The smile will show a lot. It's like body language.
Yeah.
When you are smiling, people will be open to you.
Definitely.
You can always show them, like, with hand and feet. Sit here, just sit down here and play. Or move on. We had usually one translator. The only difficulty was when he was overworked, because you have this one guy in the middle, and especially in Morocco, like, I want the drummer to move his drums there, and then the drummer and the whole band is answering, and he had to make sense of what 7 people told him, put it down into 2 sentences with a little bit worse English and tell it to me, and then I'm like, maybe, like this. So make sure to, get him a coffee and show him some appreciation. Like, hey man, I bought this candy for you, take a rest.
Awesome.
That makes sense.
So people skills again, as always. Different application, but it's always important. So you said the gear is more about like being functional, not something that does break easily, something that is not too detailed maybe, because you like want to capture what you want to capture, but not everything. Is there any piece of gear that you found here maybe at this event, or just recently heard about that you're getting excited about? Is gear a thing that gets you excited at all?
I love gear, man. I love gear. Some people think that I'm against gear because I do what I do, but I just didn't have the money to buy it.
Yeah, of course. And it's maybe a different type of gear you're looking for. That's why I'm asking, specifically for like DIY projects like that, or like less than ideal rooms. That's why I was wondering, is there any product that you recently found that got you excited, or?
It's rather plugins that I love.
Interesting.
I think the latest plugin was the God's Particle. It
it's
works
Joshua.
so well, man. I love it.
Jason will be here this afternoon on the sofa, so
we're
I'm
chatting
looking
with
forward
him.
to that.
He's
to that
amazing,
talk.
man. We had also a little bit
Can't wait to
conversation
interview him.
yesterday,
Yeah.
and man, this will be great. I'm gonna listen also to his talk
Awesome.
with you.
Perfect.
It's more with plugins, and I take care that I upgrade my laptop, my computer, so it's going faster. That I can save rendering time. For my gear, I got used now. I have the Evo 16 now. It's a tiny interface
That's
with
great.
8 inputs. It fits in my backpack.
And it has the auto gain, which helps us like so quick, right? It works really well, right?
It's amazing. We
so-
recorded with them in Los Angeles, actually. We transformed the office from Kali Audio together with Audient and recorded the Armenian band there and tested the auto gain.
Do you know about that, Malcolm? That's really cool. Like the Evo interfaces.
No, I haven't seen them.
It's like Audient, like a certain series of interfaces that they have, and they have like many interfaces off of the auto gain now. But I've tried it with the Evo. It works really well. So you can plug an entire drum kit into it and just say play, and then they play for a few seconds, and it automatically
That's
like
fantastic.
does the gain settings.
it's not rocket science. It should be totally
exactly.
possible.
And I figured it to be, not only is it not clipping, but it's actually pretty much the perfect headroom, exactly how I would do it. So it
Awesome.
works really well.
It's
Fantastic.
amazing,
Yeah.
exactly. And now there are 2 products that I actually like that help me very much, because I have to take care of space in the van, especially when we are 2 people, 2 creative people, because Kasia have her canvases and her paints and tattoo stuff and whatever. And I got my speakers and so on. So exactly from Audient there is the SP8. It's a preamp extension. So I can just plug it in via ADAT, and I think it's ADAT.
Yeah,
Please don't kill me, man.
Probably.
Or USB, and they clock immediately. So I have 16 inputs. What I need is the same size, so I can have both in my backpack and have 16 inputs.
Nice.
And the second is the latest series from Kali Audio.
Monitors.
These tiny monitors that they sound exactly like my big IN8s, but
really?
they are like small like that.
Really?
Yeah, plus subwoofer.
Okay.
crazy. So I can have all I need in my backpack.
I need to listen to those Kalis at some point because a lot of people recommend it to me because they seem to be pretty good budget monitors. But I've never, like, I hear them being recommended all the time, but I've never heard them. So
Man,
and some students of ours use them as well, like and they all love them. So
they are great. I mean, I just came back from LA and been to East West Studios. They have the full Kali Dolby Atmos series there. We've been to the Village Studios. They have a full Atmos room with Kalis.
oh great.
Cool.
And additionally, I love the team. I love the guys. We are like, I just rode with them yesterday again, and we went together with Kali Audio to Armenia
Oh wow.
and recorded there. They came from LA,
Really?
and yeah, we were hanging out together and tuning rooms and do all the nerdy stuff and all the fun stuff and
So
everything.
cool.
Yeah,
Very
I
fun.
love these guys.
Do you remember like one particularly crazy, interesting, funny story or whatever from your travels? Like one thing that immediately comes to mind that you want to share?
One?
Yeah, yeah, of course there's
Only one?
more. Of course there's more, but like,
Yeah, one I had recently. We're making a album in Morocco.
Mhm.
I'm gonna fly next week again also to
Okay.
finish the album.
Mhm.
And I was sitting there recording, and the pigeon was hunted by a falcon, and they were flying inside the house.
Both.
And the pigeon unfortunately crashed at the window and passed away. She was running behind me. And the falcony stopped in front of the window, landed on the Vox amp, and looked at me. I'm like, what? And the guys, they just took the falcon on the wings and were discussing, like, should we sell him? Because they said, like, yeah, the falcons, they eat gold, so you can sell them for $300, And I'm like, man, just let him out.
That's funny.
Yeah, this was
Crazy.
incredible.
Crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
And we've wrote a song about it because I'm now back an active musician. Our album From Babylon to Timbuktu,
Yeah.
together with Ayub Humana, will come out next week.
Mhm.
So
fantastic.
we are talking with BMG this Friday, and if the deal is good, we're gonna maybe delay it. If the deal is not good, I just press the button and it's out.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah,
So,
that's the
yeah.
way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and one song is about it called Falcony.
All right. Perfect. So
That's a great story.
that's a great story. Yeah. Yeah. So what would, and then another, like, one of these questions is like one general piece of advice, if you could tell our audience, like the self-recording band is what the show is called, so we're talking to DIY musicians who record themselves, like what's the one piece of advice you would give someone getting into recording with your experience?
Don't block yourself by music is creativity, music is love, and music evolves through trying.
Mm-hmm.
So when we are watching a lot of YouTube and hear from people like, you can't do this, you can't do that, it's very limiting. So don't limit yourself, and get as soon as possible out there, hands on, and do the mistakes. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Mistakes are beautiful. Mistakes are beautiful, and there are challenges. You will grow through these challenges. Question things and ask people who also do the same thing for advice. Don't ask somebody who have a day job, like, hey, should I be a creative musician? They will tell you, no, man, go to the office and pay your rent.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
that's what they're going to tell
Very
you,
good
know.
advice. Yeah.
And it's all right, because people will give you advice
From their
even
perspective.
from their perspective, and your closest friends will give you advice because they love you. They don't want that you do any mistakes or that you end up broke or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, try to ask people who did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and always be curious. Just be curious. Again, Bruce Lee, empty your cup. Listen. Like even this is what I love about engineering. This is why I love to be here also, because we have this community. We can talk about compressors again.
Yeah.
Again. I know that we talk about it again, and we have this community who loves
Yeah.
to do it for the next 3 days again. And always be curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
See
great
what
advice.
else can you learn.
That's great advice. So another interesting question that I sometimes ask people is, if you could travel anywhere you wanted, like, because you travel a lot, but let's say you could travel anywhere you wanted, and also time travel is allowed, who would you want to meet and record? Like, who would that be? Can be, like, doesn't have to be alive anymore. Like, time travel is totally allowed.
Joe Strummer.
All right.
I'm a huge Clash fan.
Didn't expect that one. Like,
Yeah, man.
awesome, yeah.
I grew up with punk rock. I got the tattoo here from the Clash.
Oh,
It was made in Kosovo, actually. It was a crazy story also, but
You have to tell it.
it's another day.
No, like, if it's not, like, don't have to.
No, it would be Joe Strummer. I love his spirit. I love the music, and
All right.
they, you know, I just been to London like the second time this year, and I made this Joe Strummer city walk, and just hearing the stories like where they grew up, where they were squatting, where they were living, and from this aliveness, this music came up from being together, putting reggae together with punk and doing something completely different. Because yeah, the first albums they were like right, all right. Okay, but London's Calling, they are mixing stuff, and this is beautiful. I would love to pick his brain and see and feel, and you know the philosophy. Like he was in his heart like a warm-hearted man. He wanted people to be together, especially after the Clash, you know. And he went through this path, like becoming a star, and then apparently being ignored again. Yeah, like going up there, falling down here, and then coming back with Joe Strummer and the Mescalores, which I love. I'm still listening to it. It was in the 90s or in the 2000s when they made it. It's incredible. So yeah,
Cool.
Joe Strummer.
Good answer.
Yeah, very
Thank you.
Awesome. So before we get to the end here, do you guys have any questions for Adi? Does anyone want to ask something? The live audience here. Anyone curious? All right.
Last chance.
Let's dance, yeah. All right, fair enough. Cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, thank you for taking the time. Where should we send people if they want to learn more about Hit the Road Music Studio and about you? You're traveling, like, I assume they can hire you for mixing, mastering,
Absolutely.
You know, your courses. Like, give us a rundown. Like, where should we send people? Where should they go?
The best way is usually Instagram. I'm checking it every day. So you can write me if you have questions or if you have ideas. Instagram at Hit the Road Music. Then our YouTube channel, Hit the Road Music Studio. And there is a playlist with over 92 songs that we now produced.
Wow.
There are subtitles to the songs, most of them, in German, English and Polish. So the Hit the Road Music Studio YouTube channel with the Hit the Road Music Studio playlist. It's a long name. I think I have also the longest email in the world through this. Then hittheroadmusicstudio.com. There you can find more work that we did. You know, I mean, we even hit the charts lately with number 10 in the world music European blah blah blah.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
So you can listen to the mix and to the mixes that we did. Facebook, yeah, all these platforms.
All right, perfect. And if I remember correctly, on your website, there was a link to ProMix Academy as well with your courses and that sort of stuff?
Exactly. When you go to promixacademy.com, I have my own site, even my own section, promixacademy.com, and then there will be a sub-menu, Hit the Road Music. And there are inexpensive courses that help us to keep up with the project, to make more of these projects. There are tutorials up to 5 hours long, and they cost $29. So, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, cool. And now, final thing, and I want to do this on air, so to be able to hold you accountable later.
All right.
We have a coaching community at the Self Recording Band, and I sometimes bring in guests for guest master classes or workshops or just a group call or whatever. Would you be open to doing that maybe with us at some point? Because we have people in the group, I know for sure they are interested in genres that I don't know much about, but you do. And so I would love to just bring you in there and introduce you to the group and then see what happens from there.
I'm absolutely open for it. You know, I'm also a private coach, so I'm helping people to finish their songs.
Yeah.
Showing them systems and guide them through this process.
It's exactly what we do, but like I love experts in certain things that I'm not necessarily specializing in. So
that's wonderful. I'm absolutely up for it.
Absolutely.
And,
so you heard it, guys. Adi's gonna come to the community.
It brings some sunshine. You know, bring
Great.
empowerment to you and
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for taking the time again. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for coming live. This is always great to have people in front of us when we do this. And thank you, Mark, and the guys at Sound and Recording and Studioszene for having us. All right.
Yeah.
See you in the afternoon with Jason Joshua. Now a big round of applause for Adi.
And for you guys, for all the work you're putting in, the consistency, and thank you so much for the invitation.
Welcome.